Good evening. Welcome to the ECU STEPP program's Fireside Chat. My name is Ashley Cooper, and I'm the transition specialist for the STEPP program. Let's get started. So, tonight we're going to take a couple look at the overview of the STEPP program. We're going to take a look at the application materials that you need, answer some frequently asked questions that I get about the application, and then also we're going to take a deeper dive into thinking about you visiting ECU and the STEP program. So let's get started first by talking about what's STEP. So STEP stands for, it's an acronym that stands for Supporting Transition and Education Through Planning and Partnership. So, for the ECU STEP program, we're providing access and comprehensive academic support for students with learning disabilities at East Carolina University. So, these diagnoses include specific learning disabilities such as a reading disorder, dyslexia, a disorder of written expression, dysgraphia, a math disorder, dyscalculia. So students have to be eligible for the program, have to have a specific learning disability and be eligible for services through ECU Disability Support Services. So one thing to note about the STEP program is that we support students with comprehensive academic support. So, for students to access accommodations at the college level, they will be accessing those accommodations through our Disability Support Services office on campus. They are a great partner and they work closely with STEP. So, thinking about ECU Disability Support Services, that's where students will access accommodations. Accommodations, you are thinking about extra time, maybe testing in a separate setting. Those are the accommodations that they were accessed through a different office on campus called Disability Support Services. For the STEP program, you are accessing academic support. So we provide services such as a co-advising model. So students in our program have two advisors. We also support students by providing them with mentors. So students with mentors work on goals such as time management, executive functioning skills. Mentors are near peers, so they're graduate students. So they provide students with guidance in terms of resources that students can access on campus as well. And then we partner with the Pirate Academic Success Center on campus. And the Pirate Academic Success Center provides free tutoring for students on campus. They also have study skills groups and academic coaching. So we do a lot of academic support to help students once they're here at the university. And the cool thing to note about the STEP program is that students apply during their junior year of high school. And you may be asking, why do you apply for the junior year of high school? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we talk about our STEP staff. So, for our program, we are a four-person team. So, we have four professional staff on our team. We have Mr. Adam Denny. He's the director of the STEP program. He provides the direction for the program. He also supervises our mentors, so the graduate students that are supporting the students in STEP. He also oversees our research overlay, and he's in charge of our grant as well. Then myself, Ashley Cooper, the transition specialist, I support students with a transition curriculum during their high school senior year. That takes us back to that. Why do students apply to the STEP program during their high school junior year? Well, they apply early to our program because I support them during their high school senior year to get them acclimated to come into college with the transition curriculum. And that transition curriculum helps students get acclimated to college lingo. So, terms that we use at ECU that may not make sense otherwise. I also help them get acclimated to understanding different accommodations in terms of what they can access at a college setting, the differences between high school and college, campus living. So, thinking about that transition and you're living on campus in a new environment. We also talk about dining options. So, what are the options available for the students on campus? And then we also talk about disability support services in terms of what services do students access, as well as how do they request their accommodations. And I help support those students with that. Nice. Good question in the chat. So I'm gonna put that up. What if my student didn't start junior year or senior year? So for the STEP program, students have to apply during their junior year of high school so I can help support them during that senior year with the high school transition curriculum. That's really an important part of our transitions that we have in STEP. If you are a current senior, I encourage you to still reach out to me, and I can provide you with information about a learning community that we have on campus to support students as well. So right now, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the STEP program is under the umbrella called Student Academic Success Services on campus. And one of the things that we do is we support students with that academic success. So under that umbrella, we have the STEP program, we have the learning community that I just mentioned. We also have the tutoring center. We also have Connect for Success, so giving students that early alert access. And then we also have PD on our team. And so if you ever have any questions about anything and you see PD pop up on your webpage on the ECU page, those we answer those questions for students. So those are those direct links that we had. So for the STEP program, you would be applying during that junior year of high school. But if you are a senior on this call, please reach out to me and I can provide you with information about our learning community. So that was a great question. Thank you. And feel free, I don't know if I mentioned this, to drop your questions in the chat. I will answer those live. So no question is too big or too small. So I really would love to answer questions tonight. So thank you. Continue to drop those in the chat and interrupt me so I can provide you with information about the STEP program. So thank you so much for that question. I think I was finishing up my role, but one of the other things that I do is I promote the program. So I provide that recruitment information to prospective students and families so they understand what the expectations of the STEP program are and then understand how to actually apply to our program. So one of the other things that I do, if you are in the process of applying or you're unsure of your timeline, reaching out to me and I can help you with that process. So I help support students with applying to the STEP program as well. So that application support, I am here for that. I take time to do virtual sessions, phone sessions. If you come on campus in person sessions to help you complete your application. So I am that support system. If you're thinking about applying to STEP or if you have questions after this live, feel free to reach out to me so I can schedule some time to meet with you to talk about the STEP program. Another person on our team is our instructional specialist, Ms. Henricks. Ms. Henricks is in charge of the curriculum for the program. So she is the teacher once students are on campus. She is providing them with information in terms of our STEP curriculum. One of the things that we help support students with is understanding that transition from high school to college into their major and then into their career or graduate school, because some of our students actually go to graduate school as well. So she helps support the students at those different timelines. We do have a curriculum that students take during that first year they come in and then during their second year, first semester. Those things are built in to provide those additional supports for students to focus on study skills and strategies to help support them in their other classes. So some really great curriculum there. She also helps support students as they are navigating the courses that they're going to take. So she's also a co-advisor to those students. So they'll have cool thing about the STEP program. They have two advisors, so they'll have their primary faculty or department advisor that advises them on what classes they need to take in order to graduate. Ms. Hendricks is a different role. She is understanding the students as a learner. So she's thinking about how does the student learn? Where do they learn best? What time do they learn best? And she's providing them with that guidance so they understand how to advocate for themselves. So thinking about structuring their schedule. If she's aware that a student had trouble going to their 8 o'clock classes, she may recommend like, hey, you may not take these 8 o'clock classes or bunch your classes together. You need time to process. So helping students think through their learning styles so they're able to articulate those things and express those things in meetings so they're able to build a schedule that it complements their learning style. So for me, I always use this example. My learning style, I learn best in the morning. So for when I was in college, I took early classes because I learned best in back-to-back sessions. But for some students, that doesn't work, right? They need time to space out between each class so they can process the information. So understanding your learning profile is really great. And that's what Ms. Henricks, our instructional specialist, does a really great job of working with students to get them to know understand their learning style, but also providing them with strategies to help support them in their other classes as well. And last but not least, we have Miss McDaniel. She's our admin support, and she's also our grant manager. So In terms of the behind the scenes, she's in charge of getting all the things done, and she makes it possible for me to be in all the places that I am. So when I'm traveling, it's because of her and the work she does to make that happen. So she's in charge of all those things behind the scenes, the bookings, the making sure everything gets scheduled and timely. So she does an amazing job and a very good asset to our team as well. And like I said, no question is too big or too small. So if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. I will answer those live. So takes us to our application. So for our 2027 cohort, our applications are now open. So if you are a current junior and you're thinking about applying to ECU, and you have a learning disability and you want some comprehensive academic support in college, you can apply now to the STEP program. If you're unsure of the timeline, if you're not sure if you're on timeline, or you have any questions about the application, please reach out to me and I can help support you with your application. So if you need my contact information, I'm going to drop it there below. You can always email me at cooperash22@ecu.edu. So if you have any questions about the STEP program and the timeline, or if you're eligible, or if you have any questions about overall in terms of what support you need, please feel free to reach out. Our applications are now open for the 2027 cohort, and you can apply today by visiting our website at step.ecu.edu/apply. So our applications are now open for the 2027 cohort, and you can apply now on our website at step.ecu.edu/apply. So let's go ahead and continue to move on to our next slide. Please feel free. I'm going to check the chat to see if we have any questions. I do have some questions that are already prepared here that I get from different parents, educators about the program in general. So I'm going to start with this first one. Is there an application fee for the STEP program? So there is no fee to apply to the STEP program. It's no fee to apply to the STEP program. So if you are a current junior and you're thinking about applying to STEP, go ahead and complete your applicant profile. Your applicant profile unlocks the application so that you can apply to the STEP program. Currently, we are on the 2027 cohort. So these are current juniors that are applying to the program. Another question that I get is, what materials do I need to submit? So in terms of information that you submit, you will complete your applicant profile, which that's a part of the application. And that part of the application unlocks the rest of the application. So you're able to complete your demographic information about yourself on the applicant profile, information about your family on the family info profile. So we do have a form for family. We have an education profile. On the education profile, we get information about your current high school and any previous high schools you've been to. You can submit your transcripts on that form. You can also submit any report cards that you have for current classes that you're taking. You can also submit any accommodations that you're receiving. So if you have a learning plan at your school or a 504 or an IEP, those documentations of accommodations are there, so you can submit those as well. In terms of the next form is our application materials form. On that form, you can tell us which teachers are providing you with recommendations. So you have to send a link to teachers so they can provide a recommendation on your behalf. We do have a form that they have to complete. So you need those from 2 core academic teachers: English, math, science, social studies. They can complete that on your behalf. You also have your psychoeducational evaluation that you have to upload. In addition to that, you do have an essay that you have to upload, and we do have essay questions that are on our actual essay form, or you can also find them on our website as well that are specific to the STEP program. So we do have our own essay questions. In addition to that, making sure you're completing our wrap-up form. So that wrap-up form provides you with information in terms of the information that you need in terms of understanding what you have so far on your completed application. And feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat. You can always go to our website. Our application deadline is May 15th, so you have plenty of time to get your application started and in. You can go to our website at step.ecu.edu/apply, and you can apply now to the STEP program. So if you have any questions for me, I am answering those questions live right now. I also have some prepared questions, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. If you're unsure about what other materials you need, we do have an application checklist and an application guide on our website. So, the application checklist gives you great benefits because it gives you an overview of all the materials that you would need for the program. You also have a cool, handy checklist at the bottom that you're able to write your return codes. So, one cool thing to note about our application is that once you get into your application, you can start it and then save it and return to it later. One of the things that we've created so you're able to return back to your application is a return code. That return code gives you access to the different parts of your application. So making sure you have those return codes is really important to the process so you're able to log back into your application. So it's kind of like your login code. If by chance you forget your return code or you mistype it or you're just unsure what it is, you can always email me and I can help support you with your return codes. So if you need to contact me, I'm putting my information in the chat. If you have questions about STEP, feel free to email me at cooperash22@ecu.edu. So, and I can always help you by providing you with updates on your application as well, and also providing you with information in terms of application workshops as well. So I'm going to take us to our next slide. So our application deadline. So the STEP program application deadline is May 15th. So you have to have your materials in by May 15th in order to apply to the STEP program. So if you're just learning about STEP tonight, make sure you reach out to me and I can help you get started with your application. So here's a timeline of our application deadline. So in terms of applying to STEP, if you're a current junior, meaning you're graduating by the spring of 2027, our applications open on October 1st and then they're going to close on May 15th. So we're really excited about our new cohort coming in, and we're extra excited about our students that are applying now to the STEP program. So make sure you get your application in before our deadline of May 15th. All right, so if you are thinking about applying to our ECU STEP program 2027 cohort, and you're unsure, or if you're starting your application and you want to know what else do I need for my application, you can always attend one of our application workshops to ask generic questions about your application. If you have specific questions about your personal application and what's been submitted, you can always schedule time with me to meet. So I meet with parents and educators and students all the time to talk about where they are in the process of their application. So one of the great things about the application workshops is it gives you the ability to meet to talk about, generically about what information do you need to submit. Students ask me questions of how do I find my recommendation link, or who has turned in my recommendations so far, or how can I find my transcript? I graduated from 3 different schools. So what kind of information do you need? My accommodation plan looks like this. Is this okay? So you can ask all those questions during that meeting, or you can meet with me individually one-on-one, and I can provide you with individualized assistance as well. So these application workshops are on our website already. So if you are thinking about applying to STEP, or if you started your application, you can schedule time to meet with me. If none of these dates work, you can always reach out to me My email's down here at the bottom of the screen. You can always reach out to me and I can provide you with information of a different time, and we can set up an individualized session either by phone or virtually where we can discuss what you need for your application. So these are great tools that we have in order to help students with the process of completing their applications. So if you are just joining us now, make sure you put your questions in the chat. No question is too big or too small. We are answering questions live tonight. I do believe we have a question in the chat. So let me take a moment to answer that question. Great question. If my son is planning to attend ECU fall of 2026, is the deadline still May 15th? So, in terms of timeline, if you are a current senior that is thinking about applying to the STEP program, I would love if you reach out to me. So, my email is cooperash22 at ecu.edu. So, if you are a current senior, and you're thinking about coming to ECU and you're looking for an academic support program, we do have a learning community that we it falls under our student academic success umbrella. So I can provide you with information to get you in contact with our learning communities director. So if you are a current senior and you still want to access academic support, please reach out to me so I can provide you with that information as well. So currently the STEP program is on our 2027 cohort. So students applying to our program are current juniors. But if you are a current senior, please feel free to reach out. And if you're unsure about the timeline, please feel free to reach out as well. So if you're unsure about the timeline, please feel free to reach out as well. So our current juniors can apply today on our website at step.ecu.edu/apply. And then if you need to contact me, if you have questions specifically about you're coming to ECU in the fall and you just want to know about academic supports or you want to learn about our learning community, contact me at cooperash22 at ecu.edu and I can provide you with information about our learning community. So I'm so happy to have people on that are thinking about applying to ECU or coming to ECU. Really great. Awesome. So, if you are thinking about coming to ECU, I would suggest that you visit ECU and the STEP program. So, scheduling an ECU tour, and then also scheduling a STEP tour. So, for STEP, our open house, we do have some open house events coming up. We have one on February 6th at 1 p.m., and then we have one on March 20th at 2 p.m. These are in person. I give you a tour of our STEP Cove. You get to check out our tutoring center, our classroom. You get a little info session. You get to ask questions about the STEP program. Sometimes I have students that you're able to talk to or mentors that you're able to talk to. You get to meet our professional staff. So it's a really great time for you to come in person to the STEP program so you're able to see the space and get an understanding of all the resources that we have. And then in addition to that, we offer virtual tours. So say for instance, you're out of state and you're not sure if you're going to get a chance to visit in person, we do have virtual tours. So virtual tours of the STEP program, I give information about STEP and provide you with updates in terms of how to apply, where to apply, information about our resources that we have as a program. So information about our co-advising model, our transition curriculum. We talk a little bit about the learning strategy. So great resources to share about the STEP program and all the supports that we have. So we do have 2 virtual sessions, one on February 9th at 4 p.m. and then one on March 18th at 4 p.m. And some of you may be saying, like, I really would love to come to STEP. I really would love to schedule a virtual tour, but none of these dates work. It's okay, because if none of those dates work, I would suggest you reach out to me so I can help you with that. I want to be a tool and a resource for anyone that's thinking about coming to ECU, and especially if you're thinking about coming to the STEP program. So if you are thinking about coming to the STEP program, you can always reach out to me and we can look at our schedules and schedule a time that works better for you. So that's always an option for you to schedule an individualized tour. During the individual tours, it gives you the ability to ask personal questions about your application process. It gives you the ability to get a personalized tour of STEP as well. It wouldn't be in a group setting. It would just be whoever you bring to the tour that day. Same thing for our virtual session. We can do one-on-one or group family info session where we talk about the STEP program and talk about specific things that you need in terms of to help you with your success. Let me see. We have a couple of questions in the chat. Let me see. Would it be worthwhile for my child to attend this even though he wouldn't qualify for STEP? So, if you think that one of the things that we have now for the STEP program, when you complete, if he is a current junior, if your child is a current junior, and you're thinking about applying the STEP program and you're not sure if they qualify, one of the cool things that we've added to our application this year, if you complete our applicant profile, we give you the ability to opt in to us reviewing your psychoeducational evaluation to determine if you're eligible for STEP. So this year, this is a new addition to our application. So if you're wondering if you would qualify for STEP, go ahead and apply now to our STEP application, and it gives you the ability to opt in to get your application reviewed in terms of the psychoeducational, to review if you meet qualifications of having a specific learning disability and be eligible for STEP. It does not, however, guarantee that you will make it to our interview process or be accepted into the program, but we can determine if you're eligible for STEP. So I'll say that again, disclaimer. We are determining if you're eligible for STEP. It does not guarantee your acceptance into the program, the STEP program. So, but it is worthwhile to complete the applicant profile. It's just your demographic information, and you upload your psychoeducational evaluation, you opt into it, and we have information there that explains that process, and we provide that information. So that was a great question in the chat. Thank you for that. Also, I do provide other academic supports that are available on campus if a student does not qualify for STEP. So always reach out to us because we want to be a resource if you are thinking about coming to ECU. Okay, I saw the last part of your question because of the 2026 date. Okay, so it wasn't an eligibility in the sense, it's because of the graduation date. So I would still encourage you to reach out to me, and I will drop my information back up there on the screen or pop it on the screen for you. I would still encourage you to reach out to me so I can provide you with other resources that we have in our student academic success services. So I want to be a resource to anyone that's thinking about coming to ECU, or if you have the STEP program in mind and you're on a different timeline, feel free to reach out to me so we can talk about that. So thank you for that question in the chat. And I'm glad I saw the end of that because I answered two different questions, but we were able to get two answers out of that question. So thank you so much for that. And again, we're coming up on last few minutes of our session here. So I want to make sure that you're able to ask any questions that you have. So in these last couple of minutes here, I'm gonna give you the ability to drop some questions in the chat. If you by chance are rewatching this now and you're like wondering like, I have some questions, make sure you reach out to me. So you can always email me or you can give me a call at 252-737-2275. And if I'm not at my desk at that moment, please leave me a voicemail so I can return your call. So I'm gonna say that again. If I'm not at my desk at that exact moment that you call, please leave me a voicemail so I can return your call. One of the things that I value and I want to make sure I'm supporting all the students on campus as well as future students, as prospective students, is by providing them with resources and answers to their questions. So anytime you reach out to me, no question is too big or too small. I'm going to make sure I'm going to provide you with the answer. Or provide you with a resource to be able to answer your question if I don't know the answer personally. So sometimes people reach out to me and it might be a question that's better suited for campus living or a question that's better suited for admissions. And I always provide that contact information as well. So I want to be a resource to anyone that's thinking about the program and thinking about applying to the STEP program. So I'll put this, drop this here just as a reminder. Applications are now open for our 2027 cohort of the STEP program. That means students are graduating by the spring of 2027. So they are current juniors, So if you're thinking about applying to the STEP program, to meet eligibility, you have to have a documented specific learning disability like dyslexia, dysgraphia, or dyscalculia. If you're unsure about your eligibility, make sure you apply now. So regardless of timeline, even if you apply now and you don't think you're on the right timeline, I will redirect you to what resources we have available. So that's always another way for you to get information about the resources that we have on campus, as well as resources that we have for the STEP program. And so if you are thinking about applying to the STEP program, visit our website at step.ecu.edu/apply, where you are able to drop that information in the chat. In addition to that, if you need any information about STEP, or if you have questions about your eligibility or questions about the application process, feel free to contact me, Ashley Cooper, the transition specialist for the STEP program. My information is on the screen, and I will help support you with our application. So our application deadline is May 15th. So if you're thinking about applying for the STEP program, our application deadline is May 15th. All right, I'm going to check the chat really quickly to see if we have any last minute questions there. So if you are in the process of dropping your questions in the chat, we have the answers. So submit your questions in the comments and we will answer those questions live. I'm going to take about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to close out our live. So I'm so excited to have you guys with me tonight. And thank you so much for all the questions that we have. So if you are rewatching this live later and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a bunch of questions, feel free to contact me so I can answer those questions. So I want to be a resource to you guys to answer any questions that you have about the STEP program. Check in the chat now. I'm not seeing any questions yet, but feel free to drop those in. We have 1 minute left, and then we're going to log off on this live. But I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm going to make sure I check the chat one more time before I log out. I am the transition specialist, like I said, for the STEP program. Feel free to give me a call, 252-737-2275, if you have any questions, or feel free to reach out to me via email as well at cooperash22@ecu.edu. As I'm looking at our countdown, I don't see any questions in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and close out our live tonight. But make sure, if you do have any questions, if you're rewatching this or if you're joining us tonight, feel free to reach out to me so I can answer those questions. I want to be a support to you guys as you are applying to our STEP 2027 cohort. That means you're a current junior and you can apply now on our website at step.ecu.edu. So go Pirates.